Good afternoon, and thank you for finding my channel, the Brother Downs audio reading channel. And today I said, let me give some food to the people. And so I thought about the great Thomas Sowell, a man that I had never had the chance to even read any of his literature when I was incarcerated in the Black Man's University. But I'm glad I did stumble across him regardless of the fact. And I wanted to read his 30 priceless quotes from the great Thomas Sowell. And I ran across this information from the Foundation for Economic Education. And it says, matter of fact, this was published Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. Titled 30 Priceless Quotes from the Great Thomas Sowell. Sowell has an amazing ability to communicate timeless truths succinctly. Economics is often referred to as the dismal science, but few have done more in history to help its reputation than Thomas Sowell. The 92-year-old economist has authored more than 45 books, including bestsellers such as Basic Economics, Black Rednecks, White Liberals, and Economic Facts and Fallacies. He also has written on politics, sociology, education, race, and much more. Sowell's work has been cited extensively between 1991 and 1995. He was the most cited Black economist and the second most cited between 1971 and 1990. He started his academic career working as an assistant professor at Cornell University and was mentored by Milton Friedman. In 1976, he was offered a position as a federal trade commissioner by the Ford administration, but turned it down because of the political games that came with the position. Sowell, through his experience, found the usual bureaucracy in politics and academia and government to be ineffective and exhausting. You'll find that sentiment in many of the quotes below. Since 1980, he has been a senior fellow at the Hoover Institute, where you can still find him today. Without further delay, here are 30 of Thomas Sowell's best quotes. 1. Some things are believed because they are demonstrably true, but many other things are believed simply because they have been asserted repeatedly, and repetition has been accepted as a substitute for evidence. 2. When you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. 3. In other words, evidence is too dangerous politically, financially, and psychologically for some people to allow it to become a threat to their interests or to their own sense of themselves. 4. People who pride themselves on their complexities and deride others for being simplistic should realize that the truth is often not very complicated. What gets complex is evading the truth. 5. Some things must be done on faith, but the most dangerous kind of faith is that which masquerades as science. 6. It takes considerable knowledge just to realize the extent of your own ignorance. 7. Mistakes can be corrected by those who pay attention to facts, but dogmatism will not be corrected by those who are wedded to a vision. There are only two ways of telling the complete truth: anonymously and posthumously. 9. Open-ended demands are a mandate for ever-expanding government bureaucracies with ever-expanding budgets and power. 10. I have never understood why it is greed to want to keep the money you have earned, but not greed to want to take somebody else's money. 11. Back in my old neighborhood, there was a special contempt for the kids for the kind of guy who was always trying to get two or other guys to fight each other. Today, it is considered a great contribution to society to incite consumers against producers, tenants against landlords, women against men, and the races against each other. 12. It is hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way of making decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong. 13. The old adage about giving a man a fish versus teaching him how to fish has been updated by a reader. Give a man a fish and he will ask for tartar sauce and French fries. Moreover, some politicians who wants his vote will declare all these things to be among his basic rights. 14. The real goal should be reduced government spending rather than balanced budgets achieved by ever-rising taxes rates to cover every rising spending. 15. Competition does a more effective job than government at protecting consumers. 16. The big divide in this country is not between Democrats and Republicans or women and men, but between talkers and doers. 17. Elections should be held on April the 16th, the day after we pay our income taxes. That is one of the few things that might discourage politicians from being big spenders. 18. If you have always believed that everyone should play by the same rules and be judged by the same standards, that would have gotten you labeled a radical 60 years ago, a liberal 30 years ago, and a racist today. 19. Those who cry out that the government should do something never even ask for data on what has actually happened when the government did something compared to what actually happened when the government did nothing. 20. It is not money, the volume of goods and services, which determines whether a country is poverty-stricken or prosperous. 21. The first lesson of economics is scarcity. There is never enough of anything to satisfy all those who want it. The first lesson of politics is to disregard the first lesson of economics. 22. Capitalism only knows one color. That color is green, the color of money. All else is necessarily subservient to it. Hence, race, gender, and ethnicity cannot be considered within it. 23. The biggest and most deadly tax rate on the poor comes from a loss of various welfare state benefits, food stamps, housing subsidies, and the like, if their income goes up. 24. But this does not take us what we want. It presents us with options. Economics is one of the ways of trying to make the most of those options. 25. Continuing transaction between buyer and seller